The Chestnut Farm in Klingenberg, northern Bavaria, a direct marketing orchard farm growing 14 different varieties of apples. Situated in the favorable climate of the Upper Main Valley, the area enjoys an average rainfall of 25 inches per year. However, that rain doesn't fall when the fruit trees need it most. Here you see the orchard fields above the village of Röllbach. Ever since there were orchards here, dryness has been a constant worry.
Ja, hier ist ziemlich dramatisch, wenn es zu trocken wird.
The effect is dramatic. When it's too dry, the fruit remains too small. You don't get any yield. In a dry year, you'd drive up here with barrels of water to try and nourish the trees, but it was like a drop on a hot stone. In 2016, the Chestnut Farm installed an irrigation system in these fields. By early June, all pipes were in the ground, the drip hoses laid out along the trees and connected to the water pipes. Farm manager Sebastian Ludwig makes the final connections together with irrigation engineer Parsa Razavi. The orchards comprise 2 areas, totaling 27 acres. Both areas are supplied by one head station, housed in that blue container. The entire system employs unusually small-scale technical equipment. The installation is subdivided into 10 irrigation blocks, each about 2 to 3 acres in area. Total acreage is never irrigated at the same time, but always in sequence. Here we see one of the distribution stations. The pipe in front, with the blue handgear, is the inlet pipe coming from the head station.
Das ist unsere Hauptwasserleitung.
This is our main pipe, 2-inch polyethylene, supplying water to 3 magnetic valves. Each valve controls one of 3 irrigation sectors. For this 10-acre field, each valve manages the water supply to a third of the acreage. Dividing the water supply into small units enables remarkable savings in construction costs. The pipes can be smaller, as well as the ditches. Pumps, filters, all the equipment can be scaled down, since the blocks are irrigated in sequence. This modular concept is only possible using an automatic control mechanism according to the tree's requirements for water. That operation in turn requires accurate data about the supply of water in the ground. Here we see the installation of a watermark sensor to measure the soil moisture tension. The tensiometer is inserted in the ground to a depth of precisely 25 inches. From that point, it sends out the signal to start irrigation. Basically, the drip hoses do not irrigate the trees, but long before the area is threatened with a water shortage, they supply water to the soil and maintain an optimal groundwater capacity of 75 to 90%.
Das heißt, bei 90% hören wir auf.
That means we stop irrigation at 90% and at 75% we start irrigation again. We only have to replace 15 to 20% of the water used. In 2 to 3 hours of irrigation, the plants will get enough water for several days. That is irrigation management of the highest standard. The pipes from the supply well to the distribution stations are about 1.3 miles long, with a range in altitude of up to 100 feet. But for all that, this irrigation plant only uses 4 kilowatt-hours per 1,000 gallons of water. Essentially, a person could operate this by hand, but no farm manager has the time to drive around his orchards day and night just to open and close water valves. So, automation is an essential part of this irrigation concept.
Was sehr wichtig ist bei der Automatisierung, dass man nicht falsch versteht.
It's important to understand that automation is not a luxury. Automation is an extremely valuable tool that can save the farm manager a lot of time which he can put to more productive use on other farming projects. Data from the orchards is transmitted to the farm office by radio. Powered by solar panels, the system is completely independent. Each magnetic valve operates on a separate radio frequency, so it can be individually controlled by the farm computer. It functions even when there is no line of sight between field and farm. From the field, the signals are first sent to a relay in a forest 5 miles away, then from there to the antenna on the roof of the office.
Also wir funken von hier das Röllbachtal raus.
We are transmitting from here back to the fields, way up there, close to the edge of the forest. Early September, apple harvest. All trees are strong and healthy, yield and quality of fruit are very good. And since Sebastian Ludwig could be sure for the first time that there would be no danger of dryness, he could leave more apples on the trees than in earlier years.
Das sind Rubinett Rosso.
These are Rubinett Rosso, very beautiful. Last year they were so small. Now they always get enough water and they grow nicely. I like it. The automatic radio-controlled irrigation system does not mean any additional work for the farmer. It runs with a memory of its own. As it is automated, I don't have to come here all the time to open and close water valves. I don't have to care about it. It just goes on, one plot after another, 24 hours, 7 days, and no one has to come up here. So far, I never touched these valves. Sometimes I catch myself walking along and opening a tap just to see if there's water in it, but there is. Never any problem with it. Irrigation means more than better yields and qualities. Irrigation gives the farm new prospects. Only 2 years ago, some parts of these fields were not intended to be planted again. The risk of losses due to dryness had become too high. Today, the outlook is completely different.
Wir haben auch eine Anlage mit in die Bewässerung genommen.
We put some plots into irrigation that we had originally planned to take out of production, where we had thought it just doesn't make sense anymore. But now there is water wherever we need it, and it's so easy to allocate. You know, I just ordered new trees for that plot. And new plantings that are well provided with water will bring yields earlier. The investment in new trees pays off faster. In the end, all factors that play a role in irrigation here on the Chestnut Farm can be condensed in one word: security. Even a long dry spell will not threaten this farm anymore. Irrigation gives the farm a brighter outlook to the future. And all plots that don't have irrigation yet will get it soon. The complete acreage. Mr. Razavi already did the planning, and this will all be implemented. Irriport, wireless irrigation.